The Garnet Trust Hour on your home of the Gamecocks. 107.5. The Game.
The Garnet Trust Hour starts now. I'm Elijah Campbell in for Tyler Head this morning. Got a lot of stuff to get into with a very special guest, one of the newest members of the South Carolina Gamecocks, as we're getting him all situated here. And he can hear the headphones work. And part one of being able to run a successful radio program is everybody's headphones work and we can hear each other pretty well. Kind of like a football team. A lot of pieces moving together to achieve a common goal.
We're 1 for 1.
That's right. We're 1 for 1. That's great. And so far, we're going to make it 2 for 2 because we're going to introduce our new guest, Demetrius Knight. Demetrius, welcome to Columbia. Glad you're here to help beef up the linebacker room. I'm glad you're here with us right now to talk a little football, and appreciate having you in the studio. How are you enjoying Columbia so far?
I'm loving it, man. It's everything and more than we expected it to be. So it's been a blessing to be here, and it gets better week after week, truly.
Demetrius, you got to go through spring practice, man. Obviously, I think being able to go ahead and get in, start learning the defense, learning your teammates, just getting acclimated with everything is probably a huge part of making for a smoother transition here to South Carolina. What has maybe stood out to you so far just about how the spring went for you and just kind of getting comfortable with everybody else in that linebacker room?
Yeah, so when you come into new territory as a new guy and a transfer, usually it takes a minute for guys to warm up to you because not only do they know you're coming here to help the team, but they also know that you could potentially be coming there to take their spot.
Compete
with them. And that's what this program is about, is competing. That's a core value that Coach Beamer brings to the game and brings to the locker room every day, and it has helped us get better. I remember watching something the other day that my wife showed me that the spring game, I feel like we got better because we got to tackle guys to the ground. Other guys, they whiz by, and that could be because of injuries they've had through spring and coaches being, smart that way, trying to protect their guys for the season. But I believe we got to step on everybody who we play this year by being able to add that level to the game, and that shows you the competition we have.
How many sacks, quote unquote, did you have this spring where Beamer blew the whistle? Because have you heard, like, a lot of your teammates are like, oh, I had 50 sacks this spring, whatever.
Some of those sacks, I will not confirm myself for some of my teammates. Some of those are not happening in a game. But for myself, two-hand touch, man.
I love the honesty.
Not happening. But myself, I would say maybe they were confirmed for me at least 3.
Okay.
At least 3. There are some other ones on the edge, so I'm not even going to count those. I would count the ones for sure.
Well, the quarterbacks are, Lenoris and Robbie, like, these are not tiny dudes as well. So I feel like if we're going to be serious about this, like, Coach Beamer's got to factor that in. Like, right. Lenoris Sellers is not falling down to a arm tackle, no. I feel like.
No, not at all. He's in the first scrimmage, he proved that he is he's a threat with the ball when he decides to pull it down and tuck it and run. And I believe that levels this offense to things that we couldn't do last year. So I believe that it's going to be very special with the things they can unlock, per se, with him now.
You played some quarterback in high school, right? Weren't you a QB back in the day?
I was a quarterback, yes, sir.
I did my research. How important do you think it was? You talked about it a little bit. How important in a couple of the scrimmages the quarterbacks were live? Like you talked about in the spring game, too. How important was it, not just for you guys, but how important do you think that was for those QBs that are young guys to sort of get a full feel of, all right, I got to get this ball out or Demetrius is going to hit me?
Right. I believe that gives them a game-like situation. I believe you get better if you are put in game-like situations. If you get out there and you throw a pass late and you get hit, you're going to be like, whoa, that's... I never felt that before. I usually get tagged off in practice or I don't get hit. And then your nerves are rattled the rest of the game because you're worried about, am I going to get hit again? And then your timing is off as a quarterback, and timing is everything. So I believe putting those guys in those situations, at least for the first drive of the practice scrimmages, helped them out and will in the long run.
To Wes's point about you playing quarterback, so I was also kind of refreshing myself on your high school background.
Right.
You have one of the most interesting bios I've seen on Gamecocks Online. So you were a 4-year starter at quarterback.
Yes, sir.
At Strong Rock Christian. You threw for 1,000 and ran for 1,000 as a senior. You had a 99-yard touchdown run. I'll have to get you. You got to tell us that story in a minute.
Gotcha.
You also played running back and receiver in high school. Then you were also a 4-year letter winner in basketball and baseball, and you once broke a rim dunking the ball in a basketball game.
Oh, man.
That's one of the best
all in the bio?
That's all in the bio. That's just high school. You did all that in high school. It's pretty good.
Yeah, man. I'm still looking for that rim to this day. You know, they took it down, and I remember my principal. He took it and ran it somewhere. It may be in his office because he had me sign it, and I've never seen it again. So
when I first read that, my brain went to broke the backboard. You see that a lot. You broke the actual rim. What's that mean? How does that happen?
You know, it's a close game. There's a fast break. They're coming down. I get the ball from the point guard. I see nobody in front of me. I'm like, oh, yeah, this is the one. I'm going to back scratch this one, Shaq style. I jumped up there with a bunch of momentum and was already playing in my mind how I was going to post this everywhere the next day. And, you know, I got up there on the rim and all my weight went down with me. And next thing you know, the rim was looking like this. And the ref's like, let's pause the game. We got to change the rim because it's bending. So, you know, the away team parents were yelling at me thinking I did it on purpose. And I'm like,
sounds like you did.
I had no clue I was going to bend it. I thought it was a breakaway rim, you know. That delayed us about 30 minutes. And it's a Tuesday night, so no homework got done when we got back. But, yeah, till this day, that rim is MIA.
Wow. Can you do any other really cool dunks? You did the back scratch. You know, for those of you who don't know, that's throwing it way back and then flushing that thing. Do you have anything else in a dunking arsenal? So that way, if we have some Midnight Madness thing for basketball, can we get you out there to do a 360 between the legs, anything like that? Because it sounds like the hops are there.
The hops are there. I can get you at a windmill. I'm still trying to work on my arsenal a little bit when I get the chance on the court, but as of right now, I got you with an easy back scratch and a windmill. I'm working on the 360 one.
You're going to love our question later. So I'm going to go ahead and give you a preview. You can be thinking about this. We do just about every football player that's been in here has given us his starting 5 from the football team for basketball. So be thinking about that for later.
Gotcha.
But what's the vertical, man? If you're just you're just flushing it. What have you?
Verticals are like a 33, 35, so
okay.
It's reasonable. It's reasonable for right now.
That's Chris Clark numbers over here. But man, so when South Carolina first started recruiting you, I heard this thing floating around that man, he was 20-something miles per hour on the GPS. He's fast. I think it was somewhere up there around where Nicky Mawari apparently has run in games or something. So can you confirm or give us the exact number on your GPS speed?
I can definitely confirm it was a 21.
21.
I'm very, very close to the 22. Once I hit that, I will be ready for retirement. But until then, I'm gonna keep trying. But the speed from the quarterback position, it helps me out a little bit every now and then. But it does help me play fast.
So they and we've seen this has become commonplace now, but they put those I don't know what those tank tops on you,
yep.
We'll say,
yep.
And then they just track your every move in practice. How much is without giving it all away, how much data are you guys able to accumulate from that as far as information? Do you all see that, or is it more coaches, or how does all that work?
It's more coaches, more times than not. But other times when you have a very high player load or you did a lot, they'll bring you to the side and say, hey, we're going to need you to rehydrate this much because you lost this amount of energy, you lost this amount of water, and if you don't drink anything, you might pass out later today. And try to make you ready for the next day because you got to do it all over again the next day, and you can't do that on half your body weight of water or electrolytes and stuff like that. So it helps keep us healthy, but also keep us informed for the next day.
Tell us about the transition into the South Carolina strength and conditioning program, since we're talking about hydrating and conditioning and all those things. You know, you've been to a Power 5, Power 4, whatever we're calling it nowadays, program, Georgia Tech. You've been to Charlotte. You know, what are your thoughts on just transitioning into Luke Day's program? And what was there some, oh, God, what is this type of thing? Or because he does some different things, we know, digging holes and things like that.
Yeah, man, that was I believe that's probably the first time I've ever had to come back home and tell my wife, I don't know what we're doing the next day. Usually I could say, oh, it's probably legs this day, chest this day. This is probably the first time where I've been like, I have no clue what we're doing, but I have to stretch. I have to. She'll get mad at me because I'm on the ground before bed trying to stretch every muscle I have because I have no idea what's going to be worked out the next day. And she's like, What are you doing? I'm like, you don't know. You just don't know. I have to wake up early. I have to bring the energy or it's gonna get me. But you know, it's different, but it's what we need. He has helped me to work on muscles I didn't know I had this entire time in college. So although it's hurt, it's a good hurt, and I appreciate it. I believe it'll pay off this season.
How much of that's the selling point, too? Because I had a conversation with a fellow transfer, Rocket Sanders, and I was asking, like, what was the selling point to kind of get you here? And one of the things he mentioned was facilities and strength and conditioning. So in this entire process of deciding where you're going to go play next, how much of the facilities and this type of program you're talking about factor into it?
Yeah, this is everything that you ask for. This is everything you look for when you come on a visit. Do they have everything that will support you as an athlete to help you reach that next goal? Because in the NFL, and I try to think about where I'm going before I even get there. You know, I try to train like a pro each and every day. And if I can't rehab like a pro to get my body ready for the next game, because it's the SEC, you have to be ready week in, week out. And if you're not, you'll be eaten alive. It's a dog-eat-dog world in the SEC, man, because a lot of people come to watch. And this is the football people look forward to on Saturdays. And if you're not at your best, it can be a long Saturday afternoon for you or a long Saturday night for you, depending on when you play. And I'm not going to let myself or my teammates be able to fall under that spectrum of being, they weren't ready. So having everything we have here, that was also another selling point.
Along those same lines, man, what do you have kind of a goal playing weight that you try to, and I don't know, weight can kind of fluctuate a little bit depending on water weight and time of day, all these different things, but what's kind of your goal, or are you sort of already at that aiming point?
I'm pretty much already at that aiming point just from these past winter workouts and going through the spring and maintaining the same weight. At 245, I feel good there. I don't look it because, you know, my teammates will walk up to me and be like, how are you 245? You don't look 245. And I'm like, I know, I appreciate it. But, you know, that's what I love to play at. You know, I take on blocks better at that comfortable size because, you know, it's a little more muscle to that. So it helps me. And then I'm still able to keep my speed. So it helps me a lot.
Whole lot more with Demetrius, a whole lot more to get into. We may or may not have another basketball question in terms of that vertical and the dunking ability. It'll give us the starting five of the football-playing basketball lineup, and a whole lot more to get into with one of the newer Gamecock linebackers as the Garnet Trust Hour rolls on.
It's the Garnet Trust Hour on your home of the Gamecocks in Columbia, 107.5 The Game. Also heard on 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach and 100.5 The Game in Florence.
Yeah, you heard it there. There's a lot of ways you can listen to us. 107.5 The Game here in Columbia, 100.5 in Florence, 100.3 in Myrtle Beach, and on the 107.5 The Game app. If you haven't downloaded it yet, what are you doing? You can listen to us anywhere. You don't have to rely on the radio. Go ahead and download that now. And we're streaming on the Game TV on YouTube at the Game TV Radio. And, of course, all of our video streaming sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. It's the Garnet Trust Hour. I'm Elijah Campbell, Wes Mitchell, Chris Clark as always. But today, special guest, Demetrius Knight, linebacker for South Carolina, transferred in from Charlotte, started his career at Georgia Tech, and has apparently played every single position on a football field and has even punted in a football game. Maybe not at the punter position, but you have a rep as a punter, as we learned off air.
That is correct. I probably will not be drafted next year off of that, but it's there if they need it,
You're not contending with Kai Kroger for the punter job this year?
Sir.
Is that what you're telling us?
No, sir. He's got that one on the wraps.
Well, you have done a little bit of everything else, man. And so I want to talk about your most recent season with Charlotte. 96 tackles, lots of tackles for loss, sack and a half. It seems like you really just kind of settled into that linebacker position. What was it about this past season, after kind of, like we talked about, playing so many different positions in high school and then transitioning to linebacker in college? What was it about this past season that you just kind of took off and were able to put up the huge numbers there at Charlotte?
It was, of course, dude, wouldn't be in that position without, my Lord and Savior and my faith in Jesus Christ, one. But the other step with that was taking preparation. That Coach Oz was great defensive coordinator. He came from not Eagles, sorry, Coach, if you're listening. Came from the Ravens, and he showed us what that defense was like in the NFL. We kind of tried to run that there at Charlotte, and that took my game to a whole nother level. That in the next level, you have to be smart. They talk about having football IQ. And, of course, you can be athletic and as all get out, have all the talent in the world. But if you don't know what an offense is doing when they line up in a certain formation, and they have their bread and butter plays just like we do. And the guys saw that I was able to pick that out, the first few weeks of spring. But I believe my studying went to a whole nother level. Where you have the answers to the test, you play a lot better. So I took pride in the offseason knowing, okay, I know I can play. I want to take my IQ level to another level, and that helped me last season.
So in terms of defensive scheme here at South Carolina, tell us a little bit about, rolling into Clayton White's defense. It's very interesting because, as you know, last year in the month of November, the last few games, they really started going a lot more to the 3-3-5.
Right.
And Coach White has said, hey, we're going to play a good bit of both this year. So what are your thoughts on the scheme so far, playing in it?
The scheme so far has been great. There's, as Demo will put it, there is a bunch of animals on the D-line. There's a bunch of animals on the defense as a whole. So playing behind a great D-line, playing with great linebackers, playing with great DBs, it's been nothing but competitive, but it's fun. And when you're out there hunting as one, there's no better rush than that. So it's been lights out. I can't wait to see what we do, where we go with this defense, but I know that we will go out there with the object of hunting.
Hunting as one. I like. Is that a phrase y'all use a lot, or that sounds intense?
That's just my mindset, man. I picked that up from a teammate last year at Charlotte, and I'm like, man, that sounds dangerous when you use that before you go out there. It's like, cause that's what you are. You're one pride when you're out there, and when one person gets to the ball carrier, here come the rest of the guys, and that's got to be the mentality anytime you play defense.
Yeah, I love that, man. What can you tell us about? And obviously it's only been a few months, but playing for Coach White, and he seems just like such like a genuine down to earth guy. Mm-hmm. But then also he knows when to ratchet up the intensity as well, right. and kind of knows that balance, I think. But you see him every day. You're in the meeting rooms with him, on the field with him. What can you tell us about playing for Coach White?
It's a blessing to play for Coach White. He's, you have those coaches that keep their game face on, even when you come on recruiting visits, and they try to play the hard ball, hard guy, hard coach type of stuff. But Coach White is, like you said, down to earth. When you're off the field, he can talk to you about off the field stuff. So he's not always in coach mode. When you're in the meeting room, he'll throw jokes in there, and the room is, the room is intense where everyone's on edge because everybody's fighting for a job. he makes everyone feel together and feel like one, because we're going to need each other when we go into the season. So it's great playing for him. He's humbled, God-fearing man, funny guy, definitely always going to crack jokes, always have us laughing. But when it comes time to competing, he'll lock back in, especially on scrimmage days. So you get to see that side of him too, how he calls the game in real stressful game-like situations.
Yeah, one of the things you and I were talking about right before we hopped on was just the amount of depth in this room. Mm-hmm. And so, you came in with Bengali Kamara. Gali, that's the nickname, right?
Okay, great nickname.
Yep. Great nickname. So, you and Gali come in as transfers. You got a couple young guys in Wendell Gregory, mm-hmm. J.R. Johnson, yep. And then the guys that come back, Bam, Debo, Jaron Willis. There's a good bit of depth in this room, but guys that have talent, guys like yourself that have played and produced. What do you think about the depth and the talent and the experience level in this room?
I would say this room, this is where the defense will thrive, I believe. There will not be any type of drop-off when guys get subbed in, and even when guys play special teams. I can't wait to get in on special teams, whichever one I'm on, just to see my teammates make a play, or just know I'm going to help affect the game on whatever special teams I'm on. But with that room, it's a room of competitors, man. It's a room of guys who are hungry, and that's a room that you want to get better in. It's not a room where you get discouraged, like, oh man, this guy's getting more reps, or this guy's doing that. Everybody wants you to get better. Everybody's going to help you study. Everybody's going to help you learn what to do here. Everybody's going to talk about ball, but then off the field, in the dining area, everybody's going to joke around, mess with each other, and that's how you build a family. That's how you build a camaraderie, and that's how you can trust the guy to your right, to your left, or trust the guys who are on the field to make that play when it's time to win the game.
I'm glad you brought up special teams. You're getting to learn under Joe DeCamillis, mm-hmm. excuse me, who long-time NFL guy.
Right.
And I've always kind of heard if you can help on special teams, that gives you a little leg up trying to get into the NFL as well. What does it mean, and how has it been to learn under a guy who does have all that NFL experience in Joe D?
Right. It's been nothing but humbling and a blessing. You wouldn't know how crucial that stuff is, but he's got NFL film out the wazoo, man, and from the
80s.
He'll go back that far if you let him, but he's got plenty of film, and I love watching NFL film because that's where you aspire to be one day. So it's like he's showing you the tools that these pros are using. He's showing you errors that even these pros make. That shows you like they're human too, but you also can do what they're doing if you take the coaching that I'm giving you. So it's awesome. It's awesome to see, and a great addition by Coach Binger by bringing him on.
Absolutely. And, looking through, some of your numbers too, I discovered last night that you led a team in interceptions as a linebacker. You led Charlotte in picks last year as a linebacker, picked off 3 passes and took 1 to the house as well. Is that something that's a good part of your game as well? And how does a linebacker be able to take over a game like that?
That is, man. It's, again, it goes back to preparation. And I remember the pick 6 was at Maryland, and when you play against a great quarterback like Tua's brother, Tua, you got a game plan for everything. And, I realized in the only 2 games that they had played so far that they like to get him going because they like to let him break records over there in Maryland. So, easy way to get a quarterback warmed up as, experience is to start him with quick game. So,
and some layups.
That's it. That's right. I saw the running back over in the boundary, and I'm like, that they're probably going to throw a hitch. And I saw all week, they start a game by starting empty and throwing the hits to the boundary, get him warmed up. And as soon as he snapped the ball, I ran to the right, and I'm like, man, I guess right on this one. And take it back. A little bit of shock. Didn't know how to respond or celebrate, but, just get the ball back to the ref and run back to the sideline. But it was awesome, man. It all goes back to preparation.
You didn't bust out a celebration?
If you look at the video, when I get in the end zone, I was their student section was talking a lot of smack to us in warm-ups, and I was probably an inch from throwing the ball into the crowd. You can see the motion, but then I drop it and then run off to the sideline because, man, I was about to get 15 yards on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny. Yeah. So cooler heads prevailed right there.
Right.
But we'll during the break we can maybe think of if you get in the end zone here at Williams-Brice, what you can break out in front of a more player friendly crowd here
without 15 yards involved.
Without 15. Exactly, and
right.
that's where the game planning and choreography comes into play. A lot more here with Demetrius Knight, new Gamecock linebacker from Charlotte and Georgia Tech, as the Garnet Trust Hour continues. Listen. Speaking of sweet deals, we did watch the sweet play that Demetrius Knight made, picking off Talia Tagovailoa and housing it during the break. And you're right. We talked about you playing a bunch of different offensive positions to start the hour, and you can tell that there's a lot of wide receiver and running back and scrambling quarterback instincts that kind of just kicked in once you got that ball, because I can imagine your eyes got about this big around when that was coming your way, and you housed it perfectly. It was a A+ play.
I appreciate it, man, but it's you hit it right on the head, man. My eyes were probably humongous. If anyone could ever find a picture of my eyes in that helmet, you probably have my eyes confused with the helmet itself, because, man, my eyes are like, man, he really threw it, and I don't know what to do. So just run. So, yeah, man. Yeah, great.
But would you rather have a pick six like that with your home crowd going nuts, or making the visiting crowd just go silent? What's the better feeling, you think?
Oh, man. In Williams-Brice, I'd probably want the pick six, but
yeah,
if it were to be anywhere else in the country playing another SEC team, I think I want it to be away, just to hear the life go out of them, just so I can see them when they cut to the TV option. People with their hands on their heads, like what just happened. So
the surrender cobra look.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the one I love to see. And then I wave to him as I run up to the sideline.
There's that distinct noise of a road crowd that's just like a gasp and then instant silence after something like that.
That's
and
right.
You were going right into the student section with that one?
That's it, man.
That was cool.
They almost got a gift with that one, But, just remain humble. Try not to get 15 yards on that. Try to paint a bad picture on me.
Don't reward them with a souvenir either. Someone could have left for the football.
That's right.
Those things cost money. It can be expensive.
They do. And they do.
Have you heard how much Sandstorm have you heard since you got to campus too? I mean, have you been indoctrinated with it yet?
I have been thoroughly baptized with Sandstorm.
What have you heard about the Williams-Brice atmosphere, as far as and your excitement level for running out there and being a part of that? You're at the spring game. That's different. It's different than 80,000 people being out there.
Right.
What have you heard? What are you looking forward to about that?
I have heard that it's an experience like no other. I can remember watching videos on YouTube, the best college football entrances, and that was one of them. And just to be a part of that this fall and this season is, man, I don't even have words, man. Just the spring game alone, with it not even being a completely full stadium, but it still being that loud and that awesome of an atmosphere, I was ready to, no offense, Coach Beamer, but I was ready to simulate to the season after that. I didn't even want to play the spring game. I wanted to get to ODU first game, where every seat will be full. And, man, I can't wait. I'm excited. I'll be anxious, but, it's going to be like coming home. And I think that'll be that realization that, man, I'm really home.
All right, you said you're simulating to the season, so are you a gamer, Madden, NCAA football? Not really?
Yeah, man. I love it. My wife will also tell you that I do play Madden a lot. When she hears the PS5 turn on, she's like, get out of my house. No. But she does get annoyed when I play it. But those are the games that I do play a lot. I can't wait for the next one that'll come out soon. But
Did you opt in?
I did opt in.
Okay.
I did opt in, so I will be slightly moving my sliders up if they aren't where I want them to be, just to make me a Heisman candidate on the game, somehow, some way. But yeah, avid gamer, man, especially with football.
Well, how excited were you when the news became official that the game was going to be made and that you had a chance to be in it? Because, I mean, if you're playing now, if you're playing PS5, I'm sure you've been playing this for a long, long time. how excited are you to be able to like see yourself in a video game? That's something these college athletes, you guys haven't been able to do for over a decade now.
Right, man. This will be something I'll be able to show both my son and daughter and be like, I'm the best dad ever. I'm in a video game. Like, what other accolade do you need to tell your kids in order to be cool now? So it's like when they get older and that game becomes something that just sits on the shelf, I can any of their friends that come over, I will tell them, did y'all know I was in this game?
You got to flex that,
and I will be able to flex that for years to come. So that one I'm saving for them. So hopefully they don't come back and listen to this.
You should just have it just constantly going on a TV in the house, just on your profile, basically.
I'll probably put a banner up in front of the house that I was on it. So
print it off,
just so they know. Hand them a game cover as they come in with me on the front, just to let them, just to remind them. Hey, don't ever forget I was in this game.
Just give random guests the flyer.
Hey, go try this out. Turn my sliders all the way up.
What do you think your rating is going to be?
Oh, man.
They are kind of conservative with the ratings in the past, I feel like.
I believe I'll be around a B at least an 80. At least an 8. I got 3 interceptions and led a football team with interceptions. It's got to be worth something.
The coverage rating's got to be for a linebacker. You got to be mid-80s here. We saw the tape. We saw the tape.
Have some high speed.
I gotta be 80s. If I'm slow, then
they didn't do their research.
I probably won't play it.
You can edit,
and then I'll edit my sliders and then play it.
Oh man, that is awesome. Hey, I got a random question for you, man. Demetrius Knight, the second or junior? Because I swear you were listed as the second in an old bio, and now they got you as junior. And coming from a personal standpoint here, I'm a second, which is different than a junior. So set the record straight on this.
I did junior because my dad calls me junior.
Okay.
And
so you did say for that to be junior.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Just because I wanted to be something different. You know, I had asked for junior at other places, and they were like, I'll just put the second on there, and I'm like, all right, I'll run with it. Try not to make it hard on them. But this time around, I'm like, this is the year. This is the one I want to be remembered for, especially being here at this awesome place. I want junior on there, just because I kind of feel like you seem a little bit more intimidating if they see junior in the back of your nameplate.
And so Roman numerals can be overrated sometimes too.
Sometimes.
Sorry, Wes. They can be. They can be. But yours is easier though because it's 2. Now when we're looking at Super Bowls and I have to really look at it and go in my head like okay XL 40 or something like that.
Right.
Then it's overrated at that point.
Right.
I think you made a good decision. And we tasked you earlier about, I think in the first segment, of getting your starting 5.
Right.
Since you're a hooper yourself, the starting 5 of players on the current Gamecock football roster and what they would be on a basketball floor. We tasked you with that, and we'll get your answer on the other side. Garnet Trust Hour rolls along here. Elijah Campbell, Wes Mitchell, Chris Clark, and Demetrius Knight Jr. here on the game. In the house with us right now. And Demetrius, we did task you earlier on in the episode here, when you revealed to us that a back scratch dunk led to maybe a malfunction of the rim, and you got to add a victim to the basketball list here, that it kind of inspired us to think. Wes, is you the one who asked? You posed the question here.
We've asked everybody.
Asked everybody. Okay, yeah. So it's a common
thing.
Okay,
it's a thing.
Very much so a thing today. Now that we know that Demetrius has some
curious.
odds to him.
As soon as I asked, I could see the wheels turning. I think he had a few ideas.
Yeah.
The funny thing is, the defensive linemen, they put 5 defensive linemen, and I'm like, you can't have Boogie playing point guard.
Right.
You don't want him out on the perimeter.
They do, and the receivers, they put all small guys out there. So yeah. I'm very curious to see what direction you go with this, man. Do you have your starting 5?
I do have my 5.
What you got?
Of course, there's me.
Yeah.
The easy pick, that down low. I have Gage, who we got from Miami, Ohio.
Yeah, wide receiver.
But yeah, that's a real deal guy right there.
Is he the point guard?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
He's leading us to victory. He's leading us to victory. I've got Jakai.
Big man.
Big man. Big, that's my Shaq right there. Who can shoot free throws. Helped us win.
Skilled.
Then I got Kai Kroger. He wore a Waffle House sleeve when we did play because he's always open. So, and then my 5, I have to go with Josiah Thompson.
Oh, okay. All right. I can't remember who we had. Somebody else put Josiah. He's he's obviously a new guy, freshman.
Yeah.
He's been getting added to the teams here lately. So did you play in the 3-on-3 football?
I did.
How was that, man? It looked fun.
That was very exhilarating. It was a great way to break the barriers for us new guys who didn't know a lot of the guys already on teams and the guys who were just coming in teams. It was a great way to come together, get to know each other's name, get to know how we play, get to see who is competitive, who is over competitive, who isn't competitive. It was just like, as soon as you're down by 2, we lost. But man, my group was a very competitive group, and shout out to those guys for making us the champions.
So y'all won.
We did.
Who all was was Kai on your team?
He was.
Who all was on your team?
Basically everyone that
so you took your guys.
I did.
Okay. I love that. I love that.
Starting 5.
Tried and true method. You know they can hoop. You've experienced it firsthand.
I've seen it firsthand, man. Seen it firsthand. That's my starting 5.
I had heard Gage, not the biggest guy, but I'd heard he was slick. Like he's good.
He let us know he played a little bit in college before, so and you can tell. So he's a real game manager. So if I've got him on my team, I'm good.
Love that, man. So you brought up kind of within that answer an interesting point. There's a lot of transfer guys on this team, and you're all kind of trying to get to know each other. And football team, you're talking 85 scholarships, plus you get into the 100s when you add walk-ons. Mm-hmm. Lots of personalities, lots of different backgrounds, ways of life. How have you all been able to kind of start to develop into one and kind of learn the culture at South Carolina when you do have so many new guys coming in at one time?
Right. It's I believe you grow closer together when you go through hard times or when you go through pain. And like I said, with Coach Day's workouts for us new guys, the first week is full of pain.
Lots of pain.
Lots of pain where you don't know what's going to happen to you, but you're gonna be there and you're gonna attack it to the best you can. So I believe the guys that know how his workouts are, being able to not pace us, but let us know how things work, how things go on Mondays, on Tuesdays, how you can have time to get your body back on these days. It's been something that's been, I believe, key for us as a team because I believe at the last place where I was, my strength coach, he was like, you're not going to play hard for somebody that you barely know. You're not going to talk to somebody on third down that you never talked to all season or all winter and never got a chance to get to know. So if you're willing to break down that barrier, get to know your teammate, see how he's doing off the field, that makes an everlasting impression on him so that when he's going through something on and off the field, he knows he can count on you. He knows he can count on the guy next to him and not someone that's 2 lockers down, because I've been on teams where the guy to my right or to my left will barely talk to me, barely say anything, and you don't feel that connection. And then how are you supposed to talk to that guy about a play that's coming or talk to that guy or count on that guy to make a play for you on fourth down where you got to get off the field to win the game. So I believe that has helped us and will help us in the long run.
Absolutely. Demetrius, appreciate you joining us. A fun time discussing hoops, your new team, your teammates, and a whole lot more. So thanks for coming in, and it was a blast getting to talk to you.
It was awesome to be here, man. Blessed to be here. I appreciate y'all having me.